Welcome to Storytime with Gina and Zena. Hi, I'm ZBexx,
I'm Covert Go Gina.
and today we are continuing on with March of the Machine, Episode 2, Holding Your Breath by K. Arsenault Rivera. Gina, where are we at?
Well, we're with Chandra. The story is from her perspective, and Chandra hates waiting. Chandra, Vivian, and Ren have been cooped up at one of Liliana's cabins in Dominaria. I guess she just has a lot of property, but they're using it as a safe house while Best Manor is being reconstructed. And it's all kinds of worded up because Liliana is really good at that. And the plan was wait here 2 weeks. If you hear nothing, assume everyone sent to New Phyrexia is dead. But the waiting sucks, especially for Chandra.
It seems like for a little spicy fire mage, waiting is the epitome of death for Chandra.
Liliana seems to be like kind of keeping herself busy looking at paint swatches or whatever it is you do when you're redecorating your house. Uh, but Chandra's new hobby is coaching Ren on controlling her fire and trying to remember the lessons that Jaya taught her, but she doesn't feel like she's communicating well. Because Nissa was the one who spoke tree. Is Nissa okay? Somebody older will be better at this, like a Johnny. Bad thoughts. Chandra's mind is not a safe place right now.
In addition to the waiting, Chandra is trying to take on this really cool new role as a mentor to Ren, which I really love to see her character evolve. But at the same time, she's starting to remember all the other things going on in the multiverse. She's starting to have this kind of spiral of a mental breakdown, but she's still good for now.
She's trying her best. There's a lot of stress here.
She's no Jaya, but she wants to be.
Yeah. There's a war horn boom. Doop-a-doo-doo! Tyvar's here! And two others that we don't know their identities yet. And Chandra, like, she's afraid to find out who. Because she's like, oh, Nissa, is Nissa there? And she hears voices saying things like, they have a tree! They outplanned us! We're totally screwed! None of the voices are Nissa's. Sad. It's Kaito, Kaya, and Tyvar. And Liliana is trying to fix them up because they're pretty bruised and beaten up.
Chandra and Ren, when all of the planeswalkers came in, were hanging out outside. So they're like, oh my gosh, who's here? Who's injured? We got to get everybody back into the safe house, into the manor. Let's go debrief, but get them inside first.
They start trying to fill everybody in on what's going on, and Tyvar just looks straight up haunted, which is weird for such a confident abs dude. He says, they used the world tree essence they stole from Kaldheim to make a monstrosity. It's not even alive! And Kaya's pacing, like, they're using it to invade other planes, whole armies and weapons we've never seen before. And then Kaya looks at Chandra. They got Nissa. And then Chandra forgets how to breathe.
My heart just poured open right here when I was reading this. I couldn't help but be like, no! Even though we already knew Nissa was completed.
Like, we know, but Chandra's reaction to it, it's just this total gut punch, right?
And of course, that's just the first part of bad news that Kaya has to relay to the team. That's just the bad news for Chandra. Liliana is just assuming that Jace is fashionably late because that's what he does.
Kaya says, no, he won't. And then Liliana, like, she does this thing where she doesn't change her face at all because Liliana's not about, like, showing her feelings. But what she says, like, her voice changes a little bit. She's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. It was all his idea. He doesn't just fail. Like,
Golden Boy doesn't mess up. Jace has always done his telepathy things. He's always been there. Our living guild pact of Ravnica.
So then Vivian starts making some assumptions like, oh, so then Nahiri probably went to Zendikar, the Wanderer probably got away, Elsbeth probably went to Theros, and then they have to tell her, actually, no, the Phyrexians got Nahiri, the Wanderer is missing again, and Elsbeth didn't make it. We saw Elsbeth stab Jace with her sword because he was going to set off the Silex and, like, murder a dozen planes. It was a super bad idea. So she grabbed the Silex and planeswalked into the Blind Eternities.
Yeah, and Tyvar is even going along with Kaya's story and throwing in little punchlines along the way, like, yeah, we saw Elspeth die. We saw her die. And Liliana's like, hang on, shut up. We don't know she's dead yet. Kaya said she walked away. Did she die? What's really happening here?
Liliana hears all this news, decides it's all bad, and just says, like, I'm going to go send word to Strixhaven. I'm out. Peace. Chandra is upset, like, how could Liliana just leave right now? And says, like, well, what if there's a way we can help? Like the others. And this actually does stop Liliana. She looks back at her and is like, oh gosh, honey, like, you want to go back there yourself, don't you? Wow. So then everybody looks at Chandra with like sad eyes, like, oh, baby. They're treating her like a baby, and she's tired of being treated like a baby.
Because she keeps saying, I want to go fight the Phyrexians. Let me go. We need to go save our friends right now. Wander off without a plan. I am Fire Mage. I go aggro.
Like, you're all acting like it's over. And they're like, we can't let you go back. And Chandra says, let me. Oh, you're not letting me do anything. Like, I am an adult and I will fire you.
Literally with fire.
They make good points. Vivian says, like, we should make a plan and not rush in. Chandra says there's no time. Kaya says, but we had a plan. We barely made it out. And we super don't want you to get Phyrexianized.
Tyvar even has a good point to say. He's like, don't let your want for valor get ahead of our group. You know, what we need to do together. Don't just go it alone. You're not going to get us anywhere.
And this really surprises Chandra because she thought at least the himbo would be supporting her because he just wants to fight all the time, right? But this thing like really took the wind out of his sails too. He is off. He is off of this whole thing. And they're all kind of saying we should just go home to our respective planes and try to protect our people.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of talking her down. So I thought.
But Chandra just feels like she's going to explode. She can't take any of this. But what about the people who are stuck on New Phyrexia? Are we abandoning them? And this is where Liliana really gets her with the gut punch. Chandra, she'd want you to stay safe, wouldn't she? And then Chandra's mind is flooded with images of Nissa as if she were in the room. And it hurts. It hurts so much.
And remember, we were already having Nissa in a little bit of a bad mental space before all three of the Planeswalkers crash landed back in from this war on Phyrexia. Chandra is definitely freaking out because nobody wants to come with her. Nobody wants to see her side. She was already waiting, and now it's just bad.
And I actually really love, I think this might be a direct quote from the story. She feels like she's bleeding out in front of every single one of them, and not a one is offering her any help at all. And she reminds herself to keep breathing.
Yeah, something that was summarized a little bit earlier in the story. Jaya, when she was mentoring her, says, as long as you can breathe, you can control your fire. So there was kind of like a little preface of like, breathe, it's okay. And now she can't breathe. So now it's about to get out of hand.
Yeah. Liliana tries to give another nugget of wisdom and says, when we lose someone, we have to do honor to their memory. And Chandra fires back, I haven't lost her. Kai says, she's gone, Chandra. Like, no, she isn't. If we can stop the Phyrexians, we can figure out how to stop whatever happened, how to make it better. You just can't give up on. And Vivian reminds her, but this isn't about any, like, one person. We're trying to tend a forest, not a single tree.
Tree metaphors. Oh, right in the gut.
My friend reminds me of trees. My friend spoke tree.
If you ever wanted a moment for Gruul friends, I definitely feel like Wizards is giving it to us right here. So thank you for that. They're acknowledging there's definitely a lot of passion, and we're getting the aftermath of their separation, that what was there still lingers.
As Chandra's totally flaring up. She's like, don't you think I know how many lives are on the line? That's why I want to go back, and we're never going to win if we run away. Like, you can all do whatever you want with the other planes, but I'm not leaving our friends behind. And they're like, so you're going alone? Like, well, yeah, if none of you are coming, I'm going alone. Here I go. And she marches out the door. And Kaido's like, and what was your plan? Like, I'm gonna take down the tree.
So
Sounds
Liliana
good.
tries to make one last effort to stop
Mhm.
her because this young Chandra is showing her youthfulness at this point, her brashness.
Liliana says, "You're serious about this." And Chandra's like, "Yeah, you're serious about running away, aren't you?" And Liliana winces, and that's not easy to make Liliana do. She's like, "Is that what you think I'm doing? I'm not running. I just know funeral bells when I hear them. I wish you all the best on your little adventure." And Chandra feels bad. Just like, wait. Liliana does not. She walks out into the marsh and just bloop, planeswalks to Strixhaven. She gets the last word.
I love it because Chandra was like, I have to go right now. And instead of Liliana giving her a chance to reply to what she says, she's just like, this is my last word. Oh, I thought you didn't have time. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm. And Chandra also knows, like, well, I could leave. I could leave right now too. That would be fine. I could leave whenever I want. I think I want to go for a walk before I go for a planeswalk. So
She
she
needs to
walks until
walk
she
off
finds a
some of
tree.
this literal steam before she can go endure any battles.
She stops at the first tree she finds, and she just lets it all out. Has a good cry. She believes that her plan is the right thing to do, but she's afraid and alone.
When she hears someone behind her, the echoing voice of Liliana calling her a child is still there because she says, "Go away! I want to be alone." She's like crying next to her tree.
But it's not Liliana, and it's not any of the other people that she's mad at. It's actually Ren. Ren
Yay!
says, "I want to help. I thought you were making perfect sense. If a branch has gone rotten, you've got to cut it off before you can assess how the tree is doing. I understand tree stuff, so I'm on board with you." And Chandra's like, "I feel seen. You understand me, but we have no backup." And Ren's like, "But we've got seven. Like, look, this is this tree right here I'm attached to. We've got this tree. And I even think we have Teferi. I think I know how to reach him.
Yeah,
But I
Ren
can't do
seems
it
to
on
know
my
where
own."
Teferi is right now, which we haven't really heard about Teferi in the story for a minute.
It's kind of crazy that she thinks she knows where he is and how to get in touch with him. I'm very curious to see how that all ends up working. Ren basically says, like, seven is great. Like, no complaints about seven. Love this tree, but he can't give me power he doesn't have. And so I have to use my fire and I have to use the big tree, the biggest tree.
We get the
Um,
biggest confession right here that Ren is like, sorry, I, as a hermit crab tree adopting a new shell, seven has been great, but the world tree, that's the one that I want to be my new tree.
like, it's the only tree that's going to be powerful enough for what she wants to do. And if she really lets loose on her fire, the big tree might be the only thing that can handle it. And she believes that the tree is alive, the tree that they didn't think was alive, because she can hear the song of the tree, and the tree needs help, just like Teferi and the others do.
Yeah, it's
So
like
they're
this
going to head
song's
out.
creepy, but we like that creepy song because underneath those undertones, we know there's something still organically there.
And then the story gets really weird because someone's watching the clearing and the safe house, and the watcher isn't alone. There are like a bunch of them who are seeing, but they are not seen. And it's this weird moment where the watcher asks one of the others, "Why are we here?" And there's an answer that says, "We are here to witness the beginning of the end."
Every step I make. That one. Yeah. Key music. Gina, what was your favorite quote or moment from this story?
I really loved the back and forth with Chandra and Liliana before going out the door. I think that was my favorite moment because they're both having lots of feels right now. Chandra about Nissa, Liliana about Jace, and these two people have known each other so long that they know how to cut each other in just the right way. And oh, it hurts.
I think my favorite part of this story was the beginning. I really felt like it was sort of viewing our planeswalkers from a bird's eye view, almost like as if our planeswalkers were in an Animal Crossing like setting. Yeah, so we have Chandra who
Together.
goes on walks with Ren in the morning, teaching Ren how to control their fire. Then Chandra comes inside for story time with Liliana in the afternoon. Vivian is a great cook, making all of the meals of the house. So there are some little nuggets in there that we get that I was like, oh, this is a nice little, obviously Chandra hates the waiting, but it's a nice little motif.
There weren't very many pictures in this episode, but did you have one that you liked the best?
I think my favorite picture has gotta be the last one because I really like this whole concept.
It's the Realm Breaker invasion tree because it's metal. The branches are coming off like big old snakes, and it is so spooky.
Yeah, so I think I like that because it's a good foreshadowing for what's next to come. On to episode 3.